Starting the stream. Okay. So we are good to go. Give people a second to get all sorted out. Give me a second to get all my stuff working. Yay. All right. Seems like we have everything all set up. Okay. So, let's get this started off with all the, good old licensing stuff. We are currently going to be working on Mass Duos, my hack of Mass A New Generation. Mass A New Generation is written by Brendan Conway and published by Magpie Games. Masks is released under Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Or all the text of Masks. The art is all rights reserved. Mass Duos is under the same Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License for all of the text, and all rights for the art are reserved to their appropriate artists. Mass Duos is written by myself, and all the main art for each playbook, as well as the cover of Mass Duos and the cover art for a few of the frames, is done by OG Superior Spy on Discord and Twitter. And I think they just went to Cackling Hyena. Let me double check. Where is... Yes. And the border art for Duos is done by Cackling Hyena on Discord. Definitely, I recommend both of them. They do an amazing job and have been a huge, huge help to this project. Okay. Well, now that we have that all settled, done, and good, let's get started. So, yesterday left off with the person, place, and object. All as they are right now. I did not get around to changing them up. I probably will sometime, but that sometime is not presently. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm going to get all of our reference material up. Hope all y'all are having a great day today. Okay. So, for the Janus, next thing we're going to do is add in our moment of truth. And this is another scenario where, so to explain for those who don't know, Mass Duos is a hack of Mass A New Generation to design the game to be played with only one GM and one player. I believe that beyond that, masks can be played regularly, even if it is a bit more difficult with a smaller or larger party. But when it is just down to one player, one GM, there do need to be rules and changes that go into it to really make it work up to snuff. And that's the goal. That's, I guess, the idea of mass duos. It's designed for either if you only have one player and one GM, or if the party all splits up and you need to get specific rules for the players as they split up into their own separate groups. The that's sort of the focus. The latter of those, the split up, is more of the focus with these transfer playbooks. Yes, you can play them on their own. That is part of the design, but they are best played as a, or they, I guess not best played, but they are designed to also accommodate a shift over into the rule set for a scene or two and then back. To clarify, this very much will not go into effect for the joined playbook. I know I talked about this last time, but we don't have a VOD because I'm foolish and forgot to hit the button to start saving VODs. But there, for those that weren't able to make it to the last stream, the joined will not be showing up in this hack. I've tried it. I've tried with the GM gain an additional control over that additional character, and I've tried it where the PC or the player gets to control both characters, and either way, it just didn't really work with the symbol or with the system. So, for the Janus, their moment of truth isn't dependent on having a team with you. Give me one moment. All right. Their moment of truth, as with most, very few moment of truths actually have a problem with, like, or not really a problem with, but require a team action. And the Janus definitely doesn't. So largely, the moment of truth will stay the same throughout all the playbooks. All right. So that wraps up the moment of truth. It's pretty simple. There's one thing I will bring up with the duo-specific playbooks. There will be a bit more action put into the moment of truth. Bit of, or some mechanics that will be taken into effect with the moment of truth. But at present, we're not working on those. We're working on the transfers, which will maintain their old ones because and a lack of mechanical influence because we're trying to have these prepared for if people just want to switch over. And in case anyone is catching on, yes, I will say we sometimes for when I'm talking about myself as a writer or just really ever. Sometimes I just do that. Couldn't tell you why. I don't think we have too much of a problem with the current advancements. Yeah, I think we're going to leave the advancements all the same, if for no other reason than uh, making it easy to transfer in and out of the system. I know that there is a bit of convention breaking on the mechanics in the duo specific playbooks, but as for the transfer playbooks, that's not the case. Hmm. Just going through this all, and I'm noticing that surprisingly, drives is not capitalized. I mean that as I'm not terribly surprised because I don't think any of the features are capitalized in the advancement. But oh no, the bull's heart gets capitalized as well. Secret identity and mask gets capitalized, yeah. So, for some reason, drives just didn't get capitalized on the Janus. We'll change that. that is one thing that I will be catching on to, because just the way that I like to write, I like to have consistent formatting, and so I'm pretty deliberate. I know that some of you have probably seen whenever I'm talking about the Capers mask hack, I always include the exclamation point at the end because that's in the title. So yeah, I do have plans for Capers as well. In case anyone is curious, I have been working on that in the background, and that will show up here pretty soon. Not really pretty soon, but eventually will show up with some Capers work. Okay. Hmm. And again, because I know that I haven't gotten this on the VOD, but I will apologize. When I am typing, I am going to be more quiet. I can't talk and type, just not my skill set. Yeah, I did add that in. Cool. Just checking out my layout because on my note sheet I don't include the when you fill your potential track, take an advance, or the when you've taken 5 advances from the top list. It's just the options down here. Okay, that is advancements. Then we getting down with the rest of this. We have whoops playbook moves. So first move is the mask. And that doesn't really have any issues within itself. So we just get to copy that over. Apologies, hit the mic. Don't have any problems with game face either. And here's where we have our first little hiccup. I am what you see is a move that implies other players, although it isn't as obvious, I would say. Given the lack of any major change, like with the beacon won't let you down did get a switch uh, in both name and mechanic, but really here it's just a change in wording. So the complicating factor here is where we now have the GM, which is right here. Nope, here. Here. That used to be their player. And, well, it is true that every time that the answer of their player would be the GM, it's about, making sure that we have the correct, or not confusing wording. I think that mild-mannered is good. I don't think that we have to do anything with that. Excuse me. All right. Again, not really seeing any problems here with I'll save you the next move. And I don't have any problems with dangerous web either. Feel like this might be a good time to mention one of the little tools we have in mass game design. +1 forward. This is one of the ones I think actually works really well because conditions tend to spiral. And so one condition will make the next roll harder, which makes another condition, which makes the next roll harder, which makes the next one. So when we get back-to-back rolls that are decreasing your ability to make it into the next roll and onto the next roll and onto the next roll there, we kind of end up with a bit of a death spiral type of situation going on. And of course, we can get cleared conditions. So it's not like they're impossible, and it's not like conditions are necessarily a bad game mechanic, but this is where I would push for +1 forward, because it will start to counteract that. The other beneficial one is right up here. We've got +1 ongoing. The difference between those is forward is on the next roll, ongoing is on all future rolls within the scene. I definitely think that you should be a bit more careful with +1 ongoing, obviously, because you are giving them a buff every single time. And generally speaking, +1 ongoing should have some limiter. It can only trigger so many times, whether that be artificially placed and where we have to say, no, you can only do this action this many times, or if it is just a very difficult thing, take a condition to take +1 ongoing, which sets artificial, or not artificial, sets a bit more natural. Still artificial, but a bit more natural limiters for it. Okay. So that covers all of our moves, and at this point, we're basically done. The only thing left, or we're nearly done, not basically, nearly. We only have the extra left. In this case, the extra is secret identity. And just looking it over, I'm not seeing anything that is a problem, so we're just going to transfer this. Hmm. This is going to be something I'm going to check with some of the people I talk with on the Berry RPG's Discord server. They're the people I talk with for layout stuff, and I'm going to check with them because looking over, we have the first item for each category capitalized, none of the rest. I think it should be all one way or another. I'll probably end up having everyone be capitalized, but it might be better to keep it lower uh, for the sake of the bold. But we'll see. Hmm. Just going over this, I noticed that one of the obligations is popularity. Could be an interesting way to do a star if you don't want to focus fully on the audience. Just a thought for the future for anybody looking for a different game to go with or a different character theme. Of course, you would need to put more of the focus on your secret identity than the star, but that's really where I would make the distinction is if you're focused more on your secret identity than on your audience. I could see a popularity obligation, Janus. But as with all things, work with your GM on it. Generally, your GM will be open to things and things work smoother and go better when you talk with the GM and when you talk with the group. Secrets are alright in character, but generally between players they're not the best, and between the or the players and the GM, it doesn't work out. Even a bit with GM to players. Definitely, I think I saw it brought up of the false Hydra. I think the false Hydra is another one of just like secrets don't really work as well in TTRPGs. So unless you really find that it works at your table and you want to make something for your table for that, in which case go for it. But generally, I don't think that secrets are a good fit at most tables. Not trying to tell you how to play the game, just giving tips for maybe don't make a secret based game. Game mechanic, playbook, whatever your pick is. All right. And with that, 3 pages on a Google Doc later, we have finished up transferring over the Janus to duos. Ta-da. Just mark that down on our progress sheet. All right. So I think I'm going to call it here early. I'm going to get a hold of Cackling Hyena, our border artist, and go ahead and get some more some art done for the borders for our transfer playbooks, and next stream we'll probably do some layout design. Don't expect much. I am not a professional at it yet. I am just starting out, but we get to all learn together. Thank you all for showing up. Hope your day goes amazing.